Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the books that I hope to read in the month of September. If you had a chance to watch my last video, you'll see that I talked a lot about feeling sort of a pressure to consume a certain amount of books at any given time, especially when you're a content creator, but even just being on the internet can sometimes feel a little pressurizing. And in the last few weeks, I honestly haven't really felt like the urge to pick up a certain type of book. Like there's no genre or certain title that's really calling out to me. So I'm kind of like in the middle or like beginning of the slump, which again, I don't really like that term, but for a lack of better term, that's what I'm going to call it. So I just wanted to create this video. As you can see in the title, this is a non-committed version of a TBR. So I'm not actually actively committing or intending to finish all of these books. I might get to none of these books, I might get to all of them and then some, or maybe I'll get to something completely different. But either way, I sort of wanted to catch you up on what I'm currently trying to read, and if you guys have any recommendations for me below that are books that maybe help you get out of sort of that slump mindset, I would love to hear your thoughts. So the first two books I'm going to go off on are the ones that I'm currently listening to on audiobook. So the first book that I'm listening to on audio is Illuminate by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. So this book was really popular back when I was in high school. I believe there's like 2 or 3 books out in this series. It has a really unique structure and form in which you're following a lot of different documents and files that follows this like intergalactic battle between different battleships in outer space, and you're following from the POV of, I believe, 2 main characters who are teenagers that just went through a breakup. It's very YA coded, very not what I obviously go for, but I was recently searching up some unique audiobooks to get into. So for me, like what's really important with an audiobook is the narrator. So I might not even like the story that much, but if I really like the sound of the narrator's voice, I am hooked. Like for example, last year I read a couple of books that again, normally would not gravitate towards, but I really like the narrator. A good example of that is Project Hail Mary, which now has a movie coming out, I think later this year, and I'm really excited for it. But Will Wheaton, fantastic narrator. I think he also narrated The Martian by the same author. So love, and I want to listen to everything that he reads to me. So Illuminate was one of those recommendations I saw on the internet for like a really unique experience in terms of an audiobook, because I believe it's a full cast narration, or there's at least multiple narrators, and there's also sound effects. I've only listened to a couple of chapters, but I really like the background noise, the shuffling of papers, the ambient sound. All of that for me really adds to a cool experience. My only thing with audiobooks is that I find it really hard to keep on track. Like if you saw my last wrap up, you'll see the audiobook I was listening to. It took me like 2 months to complete simply because I forget about it. I'm hopeful that I can at least finish Illuminate by the end of the month so that I can fully digest the story in front of me. And then the other book that I'm listening to right now is called This Is Your Brain on Food by Uma Naidu. So this book is really interesting, and it talks about the connection between our brains and the food that we eat, and how people with certain mental health disorders should be looking to avoid certain types of food and eat certain types of food to really support their gut microbiome. I feel like the word gut microbiome is really buzzy these days, especially if you're in the fitness or health community. I know I've looked at many different podcasts and YouTube videos and just sort of other sources on the topic, but I saw this book and it's something that's just like a personal interest of mine, so it shouldn't be too hard to get through. I'm already, I think, an hour or so into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The next book that's on my TBR for September is one that I'm currently reading, and that is We All Live Here by Jojo Moyes. So I am currently 70 pages into this book. It's about a struggling mother who's dealing with a divorce. Her husband found, a younger, hotter model of herself, and she's feeling insecure, and now he got his new wife pregnant, and the mom is dealing with her 2 kids at home and visitation rights and just all the problems that come with being an adult in a dysfunctional family. And when I say dysfunctional, I know it's quite normalized. I'm just saying like it's not the typical nuclear family that we're used to. So far I'm enjoying it, but again, because I'm in a like sort of slump mentality, it's hard for me to go back and pick this one up, but I really enjoy her writing style. Next on my list is Work in Progress by Kat Mackenzie. So this is a book that I actually picked up when I went to Victoria, BC earlier this summer with my best friend. I think it was like $10, and the cover was really cute, and it was just fitting the travel vibe that I was on, so I bought it. I'll read you the back of the book because I feel like I can't do justice as to what this book is about. A warm, sexy, laugh-out-loud rom-com about a woman who, desperate for a fresh start, books a literary bus tour across the UK that consists of a lively group of elderly ladies plus one infuriatingly handsome Scottish driver. And then, I don't know if you can see here, but they have like bus goals, which I think is really cute. And on the front cover, we can see a man in a kilt. That was a terrible accent. I don't even know what accent that was. I would try to impersonate a Scottish person. I can do British, but I know I have British viewers and I don't want to offend you, so I will not be doing that. But yeah, this book seems really cute. I, again, really like the cover. It seems like something that could probably get me out of a slump, so maybe I'll try and go and jump to this fairly soon, but I really am excited. And the last book kind of throws us for a loop because in terms of topic, genre, nature, scope, it's literally not related to anything that I've just mentioned. And that is Without You, There Is No Us. So this is a memoir written by Suki Kim, who I believe is a Korean American teacher that is sent to Pyongyang in North Korea to teach students. And she's teaching them English, learning a lot about the culture and also differences between the Western world and the isolated nation of North Korea. So if I haven't mentioned this already on this channel, North Korea for some reason is one of those topics that my brain just always latches on. Like, I've read memoirs before by North Korean survivors. I've watched all the National Geographic documentaries. There's just something so utterly fascinating about a society that for the most part completely isolates itself. It is obviously very tragic what North Korean people go through, and I don't have a semblance of understanding of that. I want to say I've even talked about this book on this channel before, because now as I'm talking, like, some memories are coming back to me. So maybe I had this on a TBR and I never got around to it. Here's the whole thing that September is that month. So yeah, these are all the books that I plan to read in the month of September. Again, there's no pressure. I'm very big mood reader, so I like having these videos because in a way it gives me like a sense of accountability, but I don't like the added pressure. So I'll get to what I can. If you've read any of these books though and you have thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. As well, again, if you have books that you like to recommend to people when they're in a reading slump and you just know it's something that will get them out of it, I'm also all ears. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.